Okay, the story is aimed at 9-year-olds and upwards, really. It's a fantasy adventure about a small girl who, when she turns 10, discovers a magic bucket which transports her and her neighbour next door but one, who's a bully, who she doesn't like, into a mythical world where they have to discover, or they discover that she has a missing sister and he has a long lost father, and they have to traverse this world of dragons, unicorns, aliens to find them. And when they do, there's a battle, and there's always a battle. My children, I would say. My daughter Rachel and my other daughter Sarah come around with me in the van where I do my deliveries, and to pass the time we tend to play story games, and from those story games they asked me if I would write them a specific story. It was only going to be a 6-page story, but it seems to have grown. Rachel gave me that idea. Rachel is my daughter, and when she asked me to write the story, I asked her, what do you want it to be about? She said, with that evil glint in her eye that only 6-year-olds can have, throwing down the gauntlet, I want it to be about a bucket. And I went, okay. And is there anything else? Because in the story games we had a thing, a place, and a person. She said, well, I want it to have a hole in it. I said, I think you'll find, dear Liza, that that's been done. But she was insistent, and so the story grew, and of course I always incorporate my children into the stories. I think they are. I think kids love to read, but they also love to see and to absorb. What was wonderful was the illustrations are done by a Chinese girl for the first book, or Chinese lady I should say, and that's in Japanese manga art. So she's Chinese, the artwork is Japanese, it's about an English little girl, and Greek mythological and alien monsters, so it's a good mix, I think. They did very much so. Since they were born, we have always told them stories and read to them every night. My wife has got kind of OCD about the whole thing, really, yeah? And they have to read to her and she reads to them. That's fine. And as they got older, my brother's a carpenter, and he made them their own beds. And on the headboards of the beds, he inscribed their names, Sarah the Adventurer and Rachel the Intrepid. And the stories will spring from around them. Okay, well, we weren't really encouraged to read as children. We would get a comic and that would last you all week. But I think the first book I really remember being impressed by was Damien by Herman Hesse, which was about a boy who met another kid who thought about things completely differently to the way he did, and he would interpret Bible stories to him in a completely what if it wasn't like that way. And but that was written at the turn of the last century, so it was a fabulous book, and I think I must have been about 12 when I read that. I think they should read for fun. If there's a moral in that, that's fine, but it's not essential. I clearly am very for children being read to at an early age. As I've said, my wife and I read to our children and have them read to us since they were born, and I think that helps them develop psychologically, as well as it takes them out of their small world they live in into all of the other worlds that are out there, and helps them cope. Yes, initially absolutely terrible. And I'll tell you for why. It's because I had incredibly unrealistic expectations. I think in the back of your mind, when you write something and you go, do you know what, that's not bad, and you give it to somebody and they say, yeah, that's not bad, we'll publish that, you kind of think that the next day you're going to be on the front page somewhere. Or you don't overtly think this, but I think for all first-time authors, we have this, well, what happens next? And you just want it to all happen the next day. And I think if my praise of Pegasus is anything, it is in managing my expectations and helping me to not be so impatient, shall we say. And now I enjoy the length of time it takes to write a book, and of course going out to doing school things. Writing the book has almost become secondary to enjoying making children laugh. Okay, well, laughter, actually. There is nothing like going into a school and listening to 50, 60 children at once giggle. That's so addictive. It was one of the greatest things I think Pegasus gave me as a gift, was saying go into schools and do a book signing, because I thought, well, I can't do that because that's just stealing pocket money. So what I'll do is I'll make up some games. It's trying to get the children to put this under their hands like this, which looks very easy, but actually they can't do it because they try to do this and they try to do this, and when they do eventually get this, that is the aha moment that you get in every book. Aha, that's the murderer. Aha, that's what the book is about. And it's that feeling when they get that, I can do it. So that's how I start the sessions off. And then we play the games that me and my children used to play in the van, and they've just proved so popular. I'm doing a workshop called Writing for Happiness, which is getting children to write not for exams and not for frontal adverbials. I still don't know what a frontal adverbial is, but my children keep trying to tell me. So, you know, for me, going into schools, it's one of those important things that I missed out on as a kid myself, was having somebody read to us. So I've also started a new pilot with the Iceni School in Colchester, where they are going to get parents to come in and I will help them do vocal training, vocal acting when they're reading. And they will, for 20 minutes on a Wednesday and 20 minutes on a Friday, simply read to the children, where the children don't have to learn anything, they don't have to pass any exams, they just go to another world and enjoy reading, enjoy being read to.